We're now looking at the first principle in this section around adaptation. This is cybernetics. Cybernetics comes from the word governance or steering or to navigate. And it's an area of study that looks at processes of information, communications, and control within all kinds of biological, technological, social, economic systems. And it's essentially the question of how do systems or complex systems regulate and control themselves, going back to that idea of adaptation. How do they actually adapt and change themselves? Cybernetic systems use information communications processes to guide a system in the direction of the set of environmental parameters that are best suited for maintaining homeostasis and functionality. So that's behind a lot of the behaviors of the actors in the system. Understanding that algorithm, that set of rules as to why they're adapting, how they're adapting is really important. Going back to the flock of birds we just saw, they're flocking. The birds have a set of rules about how they're interacting. They don't want to get too close to their neighbors. They want to stay aligned with them, so on and so forth. And it's out of those rules, that process, that cybernetic process of adaptation and regulation, we get the emergence of the overall flocking of birds. So the primary objective of cybernetics, the study of feedback processes, because these interactions happen through feedback processes. The birds are assessing where they are, direction they're flying, their neighbors are, and so forth, and getting that feedback loop to adjust their behavior. And that's the same for actors in the financial market in terms of the choices they're making and the outcomes that emerge there, or governments, or whatever it may be. So feedback loops are fundamental to the study of cybernetics, and they account for the process of regulation and control within all systems, all adaptive systems and all complex systems. And good example would be a chemical processing units, the regulatory system of a chemical processing plant that's trying to regulate that environment to maintain it in the right condition for that process to play out. Or the human body, we have many control and regulatory mechanisms within our body to regulate different things such as temperature and so on. But this plays out across all adaptive systems, all complex adaptive systems, and an understanding of cybernetics is quite key to understanding of complex systems. And this is just a little illustration of one of those cybernetic systems or regulatory systems. They all have these different aspects. They have a controller, which is the information processing unit. They have an actuator, which is a way of acting upon the instructions that are derived from the controller. They have a system that they're acting on. They're trying to control, right, your body or a population of people for a government, whatever it may be. A business for the board of directors, so on and so forth. And then there's a sensor, there's a way of receiving information back about the state of that system back to the controller so that it can assess, evaluate, and process that information to then adjust its behavior and so on. So this is driving a car. The system is the car. You are the controller. You have your hands on the steering wheel to affect change in terms of where you're going. You're using your eyes and the mirrors, so forth, to receive information, sense information about the state of the system. And of course, you're trying to maintain homeostasis, which is stay on the right side of the road in the right direction, and adjusting everything so that you can stay moving forwards and achieve that function of the system, which is getting to where you want to go. So that's a cybernetic system. It's a control system, an adaptive system, a regulatory system, a number of different names for it. But this is the essence of how adaptive agents work and how we get the outcomes when they start to interact. We get the emergence of a complex adaptive system that's driven by these dynamics and interactions between the agents.